So on my last video, I got some requests from some people asking me to make a tier 2 build or something like a mid-game build, and that's what I did today. I got to it after the server maintenance. We're right here right after it, and I just made this. I tried it in one game. It works pretty well. Pretty proud of it, on the layout too, and I'll show you right now how to build it. This is, of course, it's still an expensive build, but it's mid game, so it doesn't take too many pneumatic parts. It takes, of course, like a bunch of scrap, but scrap is very easily obtainable, and you can also just buy it straight off the shop. And just 1.6K, no modules at all, and the compartments are only come from tier 2 of all tech trees. You might have, like, I don't know, maybe the the reactor, this one, the slim covered one, and the maneuverability engines, which you might think the T3, no, but no, they're actually in the tier 2 tech tree. Same thing with the RAM and the armored crew cabin. These are all tier 2. The chassis too, you can clearly see the chassis. This is a 3x4, but just as we did last time here, let's clear the blueprint. Let's build it from scratch. Now, when making this build, the thing that I had the issue with most is planning out the bottom floor protection, and that is because working on an odd chassis is not something I really do. If I were to make a tier 2 trampler, I would make it with a 4x3 rather than this, which is this chassis, because it's much more versatile in terms of compartments. But I just said, you know what, because you need this one to progress the tech tree to get to the royal chassis and the great one. I said, you know what, let's just do it with this. So you got your slim reactor here. This is covered, which comes after the covered 2x6 reactor. So already you might not have this at the start, but I think it's needed for this build for some compartments. But we'll see as we build. Now, your protection here is gonna start like this. Two parallels on this. On one side you have a small here, and then you have a U-shape right here. This is gonna be your main armor. You're also right here gonna have a ram if you want. And on this side, which is the front right, what you're gonna have is your captains. You grab an L shape, rotate it out the front, and put your captains right here facing forward. So only caveat with this layout is that you have this for protection on your left side, which is also the ram side, which isn't ideal. What you could do actually is twist this on the back and put this on here. But this is still like reactor, right? This is still like facing towards reactor like this, and it's much better to have the back one be less armored, just because you're less likely to just face someone like this in a fight. Like say you ram someone and you start like your tramplers go in different directions. It's more likely that you face like this, like front left, rather than full left. And because we just need the compartments in order to go up here like this, I decided to put the small thing on the back, because it's also how do you put this? It's more viable also for the weight. Having the heavier compartments at the middle is much better than having them at the back, because it might cause some seesaw motion. But the heaviest thing here is actually the ram at the front. Everything is gonna be pretty light, and the rest of the armor, is gonna be back here. You're gonna see now how we do with that. We have an L shape, which is gonna be our front armor, main front armor. Then we have a parallel here, and in between those two, we have a crew room, which is gonna be your respawn point. Why am I so zoomed in? There you go. And it's gonna be the main armor. Plus, you're gonna have your two maneuverability engines, small, which have open doors on them, like this. Door there, door here. And this is gonna be your second floor protection. And I have these two, which aren't too powerful, and what I like to do actually, even though it's bad and I don't really recommend it, slap armor plates on these. Doesn't really matter, but it's just for that extra hit, you know, because your maneuverability engines, they're not, okay, they're not hard to repair, so you might not use these as much, like you might not worry about these two as much, but when someone faces this side and he sees this, what they're more likely to do is just start shooting through the engines, because they know it's like little HP. Your armor plate's gonna break, then your engine's gonna break, and then you can just straight up shoot through here. And especially for the slim reactor, which sticks out the back like this, and it's the reason why I don't like it at all to use in builds. Like this is like a big weak point for odd builds that use a slim reactor. But you know, you can work around it. It's not something hard to do, because most of the time you're gonna have your entrance here. You can also put one here, because this is basically a drop-off storage, or what I like to call is a fake-out entrance. Like someone might come here, see these two, and go, "Meeny, miny, mo, which way do I go?" He's just gonna go on this one. You're gonna find here. He has absolutely nowhere to go. He can't climb up. He can't climb the top, actually, which is why you're gonna see later why I don't put anything over it, and I just put this thing. It's because of the weight of this thing that's gonna reach. Well, here, let's see. You got your cannons. You're gonna use the Nest frame turret deck, the non-armored one, just because it's in tier 2 tech tree. And then for the steering wheel, we're not gonna use the Cormillo wheelhouse. We're actually gonna use the frame steering deck, which has more health than the normal flybridge, and it's not invasive as these two. But what you can do, instead of using a crew cabin like this, you might want more health on your drivers. The first variation I have is to use this full flybridge, but this does not stick to tech tree, because to advance to the Carmelo, you go right through this normal deck, and then you have optional unlocks for the fly bridges with canopies, and then for this two steering decks. So these are all optional. I don't recommend going with this just because you have less armor towards your reactor, not just say use the compartment that you will have, which is this two-person cabin that's armored, which adds just, you know, that extra layer of protection. But the only thing is that you have a one less, like you, basically this goes from 3 bullet to be destroyed to being a, no, from 3 to 2. But the repairability on this actually not bad, because as you can see it has only 3 patches. Meanwhile this I believe has 4, no it has 3? Huh. Hmm. Well, you can experiment with that. Also, of course, you can just even grab this, grab the Cormilo, just stick it out there. Only issue is that you're not gonna be aiming with these cannons here, which for some people, you know, it may not be an issue. Let's stick to my design here, the one I like, which is this. And on top, we're actually done here with the build. On top, you can just slap on your decks, which is my signature Enderon wheels. And with this layout, actually, you can do this, or actually just do it like this, with the pointier ones at the back. Of course, you gotta have your canopy, plus your deck right there. I don't know, maybe it kind of looks like a horseshoe crab, but this is how I make one, like a tier 2, like a complete tier 2 deck. And on the top, let's see here, you have a 7, that's 10 bullets to reactor. Say plus these two, that's about 15 or so. On the bottom, you have a 8, 7, That's 15 as well. 15 as well. From the side here, it's also about like 14. On this side, it's a bit weaker because you have a 2.5 and a 3.5 to go straight through here. So about 6 bullets, 5 to 6. On the sides, the bottom is well armored because you have these two split like this. This is a 7, something about 8 bullets to go through this side and 7 on this. On the top though, you have a 2 plus 2, that's 4. Well, yeah, that's 4 bullets to go and hit the chimney from both sides. You have one entrance, which then you go ahead and put a stair over. Make sure your engines are rotated. See here the patches are rotated towards the storages because you're going to want to repair these when needed. They keep the walls open, otherwise you cannot activate them very easily. Remember to put a staircase over here, over that, and for the other part where I said that you could put a, where is it, the entrance on this. The issue with this is that do you have enough weight? Oh, you do. Oh, you can just do that. And if you want, actually I don't think you can. Can you put 2 of these? I don't think you can. No, it just overweight by a bit. But you could probably just cut these 2 off and replace them with perhaps these. Oh, it's 50 overweight. Ooh, canopy deck. Yeah, so that's the only big thing here. So let's go ahead and turn it back down. We're gonna put stairs on these, which actually do open these things right here, which is a very cool detail. I like about the staircase there. Check the doors. You have, for the navigation, you have flybridge down directly into the reactor. Only issue is that because you have a trapdoor here. Well, let's fix this. I think that this. Yeah, so you're basically coming down facing the reactor. When you go back up, you're inside this room and you're facing away from the flybridge. What I like to do for trapdoors mostly is have them face towards the wheelhouse, because it's just better for coming back up. But this is also fine because it's just so quick. You know, get door hatch, straight like in middle in front of the reactor, pop back up, turn around, go back to the door here. The armor is also like very thick. Having this armor cap, like this armored crew cabin, also adds to everything. Only issue that I might see is this being a bit too weak. The cannons are fine. If you want to remove the ram, if you don't have this unlocked, you can remove it and go for a stronger flybridge. You can go for the Carmelo, sticking out like this. But then you're gonna be able to, need to remove that, and you're gonna want to replace this maybe with something like a bridge. But I suggest to not do that. Oh wait, just keep it like this. I will just keep it like I have with Z like that. You have your, yeah, that's basically it. It costs 3,000, like short of 3,000, 1,500 crowns, and about 600 pneumatic parts, 0 modules. Let's go see the text tree for this build very quickly. Going text tree, let's see here. You have your motor reactors. As you can see, this one comes after. This is tier 2. Crew room comes after the captains, then single and double. And your mailing chassis, this one, as you can see, is needed for the gray chassis. You can see the yellow line. This is one of the first things you unlock though, so you should be fine. Going down the cargo holds, this is the most complex thing to unlock. Because you can see here you got a lot of weird coral that you need, more weird coral, and then you have the main things, which are the fabric, the reinforced leather strips, the metal rods, and the Leviathan skin. The hardest one to get is the leather strips, and many people, like my friends too, when we started playing, we opted to go directly for the armored U shape. But I don't suggest doing it because these armored compartments are far less useful than the wooden ones, because you're more likely to use these rather than the armored, because the armored weigh more and they might not be viable for your build. They're very hard to adapt. Then going down, as you can see here, you got from the entrance, you got the frame steering, which is the first thing you unlock, and as you can see, to get to the Cormilo, it doesn't, it goes directly, see, from the steering, because this one goes into this and into this, but you don't need those two. You go directly to the Cormilo, so if you want to unlock these, you can, sure. But just, grab this steering wheel, then you continue with your tech tree. Armor plates, they might be a bit expensive because of the weird coral, and also the battering ram because it has such a big alloy steel need, and if you're solo, it's very hard to get it. I suggest, not putting this, maybe going for a different flybridge, using the Cormilo, or maybe using some more armor plates around the build. But then I think that's everything that's present in this build. Yep. Yeah, I hope this was a more down to earth video because I saw some people also complaining that what I built was very over the top, maybe calling me a sweat, which I am. Well, no, that's about it. See ya.